Hi everyone, this is Stephanie from Talk to Me in Korean, and I'm back with another book review or look inside. And today I'm going to go over our brand new book called The Hangeul Master. Yeah. The cover is wonderfully drawn. I like it a lot. It's got like an Indiana Jones theme. In this book, we're covering everything about Hangul, basically. So we're covering everything from the basics to the secrets of reading Korean handwriting or developing your own style of Korean handwriting, which is pretty cool. Let's open up. So right here in Chapter 1, we give you a history of Hangul, which is in a timeline form, so it gives you a very brief history of Hangul, but brief but concise. Then we move on to introduction of Hangul. We have a chart here of all the letters. So we have the consonants here, vowels here, with the romanizations underneath and the IPA symbols also underneath that, which is quite helpful. We talk about writing Hangul letters, the direction of which Hangul is written, top to bottom, left to right. Talk about keeping the syllable blocks and why Korean generally has sort of a blocky shape. So there's a specific pattern to write the letters in. Talk about vowels and how you could never, ever, ever write a vowel by itself like this. It always has to have yung in front of it. Throughout the book, we have these little timeout sections. So the first one is when do Koreans learn Hangul, and it's just a little blurb of information about when Native Korean people learned Hangul. Okay, now we get into the meat and potatoes of the book. Learning Hangul. This first unit is on single vowels. So as you can see, each letter is broken down into the Hangul symbol here, IPA, and what it sounds like in English. So this letter here sounds like as in father, and we even give you a little like memorization hint, so it kind of looks like an A if you tilt it sideways. So right here we have the syllable block construction. So it'll tell you exactly how, in what order to write it. You can look at the stroke order. So we go down first, then across, and you can practice writing it here 3 times. Each of these letters is set up in the exact same way. So sometimes when you are reading this book, you'll come across a paragraph in the sounds like section that gives you a little hint on how to better pronounce the letter. So in this one, we're talking about the vowel O, and it's a very pure O sound. So you need very rounded lips, almost as if you are about to kiss someone without puckering. So that's what this picture shows here, the O. These pictures are really cleverly drawn. At the end of each unit, we have a quick quiz. There are 3 questions here, and then there are 4 listening questions also. You have to circle the vowel which you hear in the audio track. Some of them are kind of tricky, but it's good for your listening skills. So unit 2 is consonants. Same setup. There's a quick quiz there at the end. So now we're into aspirated consonants. This happens to be my favorite drawing because it is almost identical to the actual letter. So this letter here is called hyut, and it sounds like H as in harmony or hat. So right here they drew the traditional Korean guy with the hat, and you could see the outline of hyut in the guy's face. This is a drills and exercises chart to just review what you have just learned in the previous 3 units. So we're putting together the letters here. So we're taking a consonant plus a vowel, and we're putting them together here like ka. So you would take nian and a, put them together here, na, ta, ra, ma, ba. Continuing on with the drills and exercises, we have a listening portion here, and you have to complete the syllable. So each of these is not complete. It's just a vowel or a consonant hanging out in thin air, and you have to write what's missing. In this section here, you can practice your reading and writing using Korean words. So right here, ke means dog, 바지 is pants, 코, nose, 모자, hat. So continuing with the quiz, this section is loan words. So you need to read each loan word aloud and mark the equivalent English word. So if your English skills also need brushing up, like sometimes even I forget how to speak English, which is kind of bad, it's helpful to read through these and remind yourself. So here in Unit 4, we're talking about compound vowels, or 이, 중, 모음, Quick quiz there. Moving on to Unit 5, or compound vowels, but a different kind of compound vowel this time. Quick quiz, drills and exercises. This time we're using a consonant plus the compound vowels, which we had just learned in the previous units. Fill in the chart. Continue the chart on the back side. Listen to the audio track and complete the syllable. Again, consonants and vowels just hanging out in thin air. Practice reading and writing Korean words using what you have learned so far. This also has an audio track, so you can practice reading, writing, and saying the words all at the same time. There's some more loan words. Now we're into batim, which are final consonants in Korean. Same format as before. You get to practice writing these consonants as batim, or final consonants. Unit 7 is double consonants. They sound similar to the single consonants, but if you look closely at the sounds like section, we give you English equivalents. Sometimes for double consonants, there are no exact English equivalents, like here. There is no exact equivalent sound in English, but a similar sound would be a tensed J, as in judge or jug. So your throat really has to close up, and there's no letter or sound in English that is like that. Unit 8. Compound consonants as patim. So now we're talking about more than one consonant being used as a patim. For these compound consonants as patim, we give you pronunciation tips. So like liut and kiok together, when it's as a patim, when followed by a vowel, kiok is pronounced with the vowel. So you wouldn't say uk, you just pronounce the k. Unit 9 is about linking sounds in Korean. This is a chapter all on its own because it is really important and sometimes forgotten by a lot of foreigners that you need to link sounds together. So there are several linking rules to remember, but the more you practice, the easier they'll become, and they will come to you naturally, so you won't have to try as hard. So we've come to the drills and exercises for Unit 6 through Unit 9. We are doing kind of Hangul math here. So combine 3 letters as in the example to create a syllable. So kiok, yung equals kang. These 2 pages might be my favorite exercises out of the whole book. Right here, you have to read the following names of major cities or islands in Korea, then practice writing them in Hangul. So as you can see, Seoul is written here, but all other cities, major cities in Korea, are written here. And surprisingly, Korea is more than just Seoul, so there are bigger cities in Korea outside of Seoul. These next 2 pages here are quite possibly my favorite part about living in Korea, is tasting all of the delicious food. And this exercise asks you to look at the pictures below. Each picture is of a Korean food that is easily found in Korea. Practice reading the names of the food silently and aloud. In case you need pronunciation help, there's an audio track here. We have kimbap, bibimbap, bulgogi, and on the next page we have samgyetang, ramen. Everyone recognizes ramen. Tteokbokki. We have another quick quiz on loan words, and then we have the final test. You can test your knowledge of the previous 9 chapters. You can score yourself. The answers are in the back of the book, which makes it nice. Right here we have timeout number 2. You actually know more Korean than you think you do. And now we are in to Hangeul Handwriting. So this is the section where you can learn to read handwritten Korean. Handwritten Korean sometimes is kind of a puzzle to try and figure out. So we wrote this to try and help you recognize some of the patterns that people have when they write in Korean. So each of these tips will have a sentence that explains what it actually says. Right here, this is concentrating on the vowel ah. So ah often becomes something that looks like kind of a backwards check mark, omitting the lower half of the vertical line when people are writing really fast. So all of these, there are 30 tips. Each one will have an explanation, so you're not just guessing as to what it means. Timeout number 3, abbreviations in Korean slang. These are quite useful if you text your friends in Korean a lot. So in Unit 2, you can practice your Korean handwriting. You can practice like a native speaker. All of these examples are from native Korean speakers. And then down here, you can practice developing your own style of Korean handwriting. We give you a ton of practice exercises to help you develop your own Korean handwriting. So here's timeout number 4, shortening sentences without sacrificing meaning. Korean is super good for being able to shorten sentences. So in English, right here, you would say, I met my friends yesterday. And it's kind of a long sentence if you're like using Twitter or something. But in Korean, you can shorten it all the way down to maybe 3 words here. So Unit 3 is a Korean handwriting quiz. If you are ready to take the quiz, there are 60 questions. Each word is handwritten by a native Korean person, and you are to guess what the word says. Some of them are more difficult than others, as you can probably see. Some of them I have no idea what they say either. And our final timeout is the Chinese characters in the Korean language. Then we get to the answers. So again, you don't have to sit at home and wonder. If your answers are correct, we provide them in the back here. And that's it. Okay, so if you notice that the size and shape of this book is different than our other books. This one is wider and a little bit thinner, but that's so you can have room to write in it. We didn't want to restrict your writing room to this way, so we decided to spread it out this way. That's all I have for you right now. So whenever we publish a new book, hopefully I will be doing these in the future, so you guys can get a sneak or a preview of what's inside before you buy it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
You cannot use all of them in one go. You have to use like separately. And then sometimes if your mother's birthday is next month, you can say to your leader or commander-in-chief, you can say, my mother's birthday is next month. Can I go out on a leave on that day?
So you can apply.
Apply, yes. And then they tell you whether it's possible or not because, you know, you might have a training.